cloud, there is a lot of limitation and challenges for us to moving the cloud. One is the security, definitely, since we work on the IP content of all the pre-release content of Disney, Warner, Paramount, Fox, everybody, and we probably will start working on their IP content, the pre-release IP content 2 years before, right? So it's a very intense security requirement which each of the clients would have, which has to be addressed, right? But picking that, we definitely had to be futuristic and we had to think forward, right? If you're working on a movies, if a movie could predict that a human being can go to Mars many decades before which actually happened, if a movie like a Matrix can come and say, okay, in few couple of decades, you will be actually controlled by robots and artificial intelligent bots, then we definitely in technology we had to be much ahead. So if I can talk 10 years before, most of the animation and visual effect production houses, they all used to produce the entire movie or entire sequence in one particular site. The reason being the amount of huge data which needs to flow through if you're working on different site was huge. The network requirement was huge. The HPC compute requirement was huge. So everybody thought it's a very expensive proposition to divide your product or divide your project and do the production in multi-site geography. That's when probably 10 years back, we built our own private cloud architecture and we connected our Canada, US, UK, and India side 10 years back with a network connectivity, and we created our own platform, software platform, which could make sure that we do a multi-site production. Then this was done 10 years back. And then talking specifically of the cloud, because of the security and the network and the data challenges, none of the studios were actually on the cloud. So what we did so this was actually during the Jungle Book times. What we did is we thought that this could become a bottleneck. We have a process called rendering. That's an high performance computing rendering where you have to compute a massive amount of data sets, and that can be really large numbers. We thought that is probably a one subset which can be uploaded to cloud. So 10 years back, we started working on our MicroLab platform, a cloud enabled private cloud inside. And then we started working with some of the larger cloud providers for our bare metal HPC compute application. And that's when probably we did our architecture, and that's the time when our data couldn't be in the cloud. So what we eventually did is we laid a network cable from our studio to the cloud provider, and then that's where we had this huge HPC farm which will do the compute. Because we could do this from a time where we were unable to probably do 2 to 3 movies in a year, we could scale to 5 sites globally and probably do nine shows in a year. So since we thought through little ahead and we could enable that, we at this point of time we could probably do nine projects in a time. So these are a couple of examples I do. For example, last December was one of our busiest time, and that's when we were doing 4 shows on the cloud, and that we were rough approximately with at least using around 130,000 codes on the cloud. So that's the massive amount of cloud, the HPC cloud utilization which we have. That's where we started off. But thinking now, little more forward thinking, we already started working on our 2024 plan. So, and this is something which we're working on cloud. For example, the pandemic can be a great example. Since the pandemic is happening, we cannot probably do a virtual shoot. There cannot be any shoot happening in a place. And in UK and US and Australia, there was no shoot for 4 months. So no shoot for 4 months means you're not getting your input data, which you have to work, and then obviously the output has to be there. On the contradictory, the demand for content for OTT platform has increased. So that's where we come. So we innovated something called a virtual production. I can give an example. This came in like 2015 is when we formed this virtual production. That's a new era of making a movie. So what we do is for Jungle Book, actually the entire reference shoot was happening in jungle in India. So our team was there capturing the reference shoot. We did an 18,000 kilometer. We generated around 200,000 pictures, which is a reference shoot, which later has to be converted to a digital assets, which was shown in the movie. And that generated around 12 terabytes of data. And then this was happening here. And if you know, in Jungle Book, the entire everything was photorealistic, CG made, computer graphics made, and there's only one live character in the entire movie, which was Mowgli. And he was a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid, Canadian kid, and that shoot was happening in LA. So the director is shooting the Jungle Book shots with Mowgli there, and he has to visualize everything. He has to visualize the background is walking around with Balu. He's walking with a tiger, and there's a tree branches like this, and this tree branches, waterfall, everything is created CG wise, and that exactly lies somewhere exactly in India somewhere. Yeah, when director is shooting, he has to visualize all these things there, and it's impossible for any artist to create all these assets, show it to a director, and he sees it and he can visualize how it comes in. So what we did is, and this was the cloud architecture, what we did is we started using the VR for that. So the director will wear a VR glass, and we will send all the reference characters and animation blocks, which is a CG set of all the characters and backgrounds there. So when you're actually shooting Mowgli back in the Chroma studio in LA, he can visualize all the background which is happening. So this is something which we started long back, and that has been used for Lion King and most of the movies which we're using. This is there. So this is like thousands of miles away, where the one shoot is happening in India and one shoot is happening there. And this data is not small. This is not something which you can probably transfer in a week. That's the volume it used to happen. So that's where we are. So data, if I can talk about the challenges, the security is one which I spoke about. The volume of the data. To give a subset, we do around 22 terabytes of data download in India from all this global site every day. So every day we download around 22 terabytes of data. So what we also realized that the data has to be very closer to our software platform. Yeah. So what we now started working on a project. Actually, we're doing one interesting project with Microsoft Azure, where we're working together how we can port some of our application layer, some of our DCCs, some of our microservice layer, and the DB and the scalable DB on the cloud. So our platform is on the cloud, our data is on the cloud, and so that gives the ability for us to work from anywhere. So if you ask anybody, nobody wants to work from home now, but that gives you a possibility for a director, an artist, a supervisor to probably work from anywhere. If you want to scale up your application to from a 200 user to a 100x users, right? That gives you a possibility. And if you have to transfer 100 terabytes of data every day, probably the cloud provider would have a larger bandwidth than we have. So that's where we are going to the next application modernization working on the cloud. And we want to make sure that all our apps, be it the deployment layer or be it orchestration layer, the database layer, the microservice layer is something we design it in a way. It is cloud friendly, but is it the right dynamic? Does it solve the economics of scalability? That's where we're focusing to rebuild all the stuffs which can be just not ported in the cloud, which can be deployed in the cloud, which can probably give us 100x of scalability.